specifically target data security as an enabler. PSU play a very vital role in our daily lives, and nobody can deny over it that there is no day in which we do not use any kind of services or products which is being developed or provided by public sector units. So, and similarly, IT also plays a very major role in our daily lives. So, we need to understand that we are living in a modern era. Traditional days are gone, and we need to make sure, or we need to make our mind that what pace we want to grow. So, if we want to grow faster, and in this modern era, we need to have IT in place. We need to have technologies which are available. We need to use those technology for the growth we want to achieve. So IT act as an enabler. So so how many of you use mobile phones here? How many of you have? I think everybody. Don't need to ask. How many of you use internet? Same answer. Correct. How many of you book tickets online? Means at least 80–90%. So see how IT is enabling us. No need to stand in a queue and book your tickets. Now you just have to click and provide your details, and the tickets are booked and sent to your mobiles. Now no need to have tickets from the counter itself. You just have to show that the mobile and barcode, and it is done. So how fast now services is being provided to the users, and this is courtesy IT. And as far as the organization is concerned, if we consider PSUs also, so these are the three factors which every organization want to have: efficiency, transparency, and accountability. So efficiency you can have efficiency using the technology which are available. Means you have now laptops, computers, internet, mobile phones. So there are different technology which are available through which you can reduce the cost as well as faster way of providing or developing products, providing services. So this is how you can use those technologies, and with the help of IT itself, you can have transparency and accountability in the job done, which whatever job you are doing, whatever job is being given to anybody else. Then there should be a transparency and accountability, and this can be achieved using the technologies which are available. But having said that, IT is important, and we can use it for various means. We can grow faster, but all these things depends on sharing. So you need to share data information, and sharing can be government to government, it can be government to business, it can be business to government to citizens, any kind of sharing I'm talking about. So sharing is important. Unless we share, we cannot be on the growth path which we like to achieve. So living in a confined area and want to grow faster, this is not possible, and we have seen this in the past. But when we talk about sharing, if we share something, means if we provide some information or some kind of stuff to anybody else, so we are losing control over it. Now, which increases the security scope you need, which increasing the compliance factors requirement. So that is why security and compliance are not the biggest admirer of sharing. So when we talk about security, what kind of security we are talking about? So data security is the most important thing as far as information technology is concerned. Yes, physical security, everything is important. I am not saying that is not important, but as we are living in a information technology world, data is the most important thing. Data is the one which any malicious guy is looking for, any hacker, any kind of for any kind of malicious means. So when we talk about data security, these are the four things which come to in each and every mind. Data confidentiality, data integrity, non-repudiation, authenticity. So what data confidentiality is, if somebody shares data or send data from one place to another, if some malicious person gets into your network and tries to steal that data, he will be able to steal, but he will not be able to do anything with that data. He cannot see that data. So that is how that data confidentiality is maintained. Now, coming to the integrity part, integrity means if I am sending some data to you, some information to you, you feel assured that there is nothing changed in between, not even a dot has been changed. Non-repudiation, if I am sending some data to you, so I am liable for it, that I had sent that data to you. I cannot deny in future that I haven't sent that data. Last but not the least, to control access to that data, your resources, or the data which is being sent by an authorized guy, an authentic guy. So these are the four pillars of data security, which is important in each and every infrastructure, technology infrastructure, IT infrastructure has these, should have these components as far as data security is concerned. Now, these were the security part. Now, coming to the compliance part. There are many compliances which are available, and this is the first most which comes in each and every mind. That is IT Act of India. So IT Act of India clearly mentions that if any organization is holding some sensitive data of any user or any organization, there should be reasonable security practices through which that data needs to be secured. And if that data is being compromised, then there are certain penalties for that organization. Other than penalties, there is a loss of trust, there is a loss of reputation, which is more important as far as an organization is concerned. And legal complication can also be there. In the past, when the IT Act of India was made, there was no mention of any kind of what kind of data needs to be secured. So then it was amended, and IT Rules 2011, 2011, the IT rules came, and they mentioned some of the data elements. Not all. These data elements differ from organization to organization. So, but if you see, there are passwords, there are financial information, there are biometric information, and biometric information, no doubt, is part of, I think, most of the databases which are there in our country, courtesy Aadhaar. So, and you can see that these elements have to be mandatorily protected. Reasonable practices has to be involved, as in IT Act of India already mentioned in 43A. So when we talk about PSU, most of the PSUs has this e-procurement thing in place. E-procurement applications, e-tendering kind of scenario, most of the PSUs have. So STQCs provide guidelines that if you are having e-procurement applications, these are the things which are required. So confidentiality, integrity is first thing, which is also there in IT Act of India. We need to follow IT Act of India when we are having some e-procurement or any kind of digital infrastructure in place. They ask for PKI infrastructure, means every bid has to, if we say e-tendering or any kind of e-document, e-invoicing, then you need to sign that document, and that the PKI component has to be secured in a proper manner. Time stamping should be there. There should be, for confidentiality, there should be encryption in place. It can be on a user machines, or it can be on a data center, on your databases, in your storage. The motive is that the confidentiality integrity has to be secured. And there are different other guidelines also, like controls, ISO 27001 controls. This is there in each and every organization, and each and every RFP will find ISO 27001. And this also talks about integrity, confidentiality, and authenticity. Then CCA guidelines. Every organization use certificates at present, whether it is in e-procurement, whether it is any other applications. Every organization uses digital certificates. So how you secure those digital certificates? So CC has controller of certifying authorities, which provides licenses to the certifying authorities. So we have around 6-7 certifying authorities, legal certifying authorities in India. So those certificates which is being provided has to be secured on hardware, crypto hardwares. So that has been mentioned by CC. Now cloud is coming up, so Meghraj is there, which is for department can use the cloud infrastructure and can place their applications in that cloud data center. So cloud security guidelines is also there. Cyber security guidelines is also there. So there are different guidelines which are available. Other than these two things, security and compliances, there is another push which asks us to be focused more on our security infrastructure. And these are the facts. Data breaches, which is happening everywhere. You open a newspaper, open magazine, open internet, you will find these things, these news lines. So you can see in single year, there were 974 million records were stolen, data records were stolen. And it comes down to 31 records every second. So see how, in what threat landscape we are living in. So these three things, security, compliances, and this kind of news, ask us to change our approach. So what can be an approach? So it is a CISO, CTO, or IT manager who is taking care of those applications, who is taking care of data centers, that what needs to be done? Now what should I do? The first thing is we need to have a different mindset. We need to be proactive. We need to think ahead of the hacker or a malicious guy. We need to think like a bad guy. So proactive approach is very important. So we generally go with reactive approach, that something happens and then we start amending those things. So we need to have security in place in such a manner that if something happens, first of all, nothing can happen. But if something happens, because there is no foolproof security, 100% security is not there. But security should be at the level that the effect of that breach should be low. Last but not the least, yes to data security. This is most important. We generally don't say yes to security as far as our organization is concerned. But if that is the case of our home, we don't ask a police station to be opened when we are building a home. We put our locks into it. And other than the door lock, we have a safe in some area of our house in which we keep our valuables. And after that too, we put our assets in banks. So bank is just a cloud. So you have trust on our bank. That is why you are providing your assets in lockers. So that is up to us, how we want to secure our architecture. And there's a solution. So there can be multiple solutions to it, multiple security, you can say, solutions which are available in the market, which can be used on certain places, on different places, which can be used. So this is just a snapshot of, you can see a data center. So this is the layers of data center. There is a physical security, you have guards, you have network infrastructure defense, that is parametric security. Then you have identity and access management, tokens, two-factor authentication, and then there is data. So if you see in past breaches which has happened, or you can say within 1 year, last year, most of the organizations had physical security, parametric security, and two-factor authentication. But still, the data was compromised. So there should be something which needs to be done so that data should not be compromised. And the ultimate defense is encryption with secure key management. Now, anybody can encrypt. You can have free tools. Any novice can encrypt. But proper encryption, adequate encryption is required with proper and adequate key management. If that is not there, then you are okay with the same infrastructure only, don't encrypt. So we must protect what matters, where it matters, at the edge and at the core. At the edge means at the user side as at the data centric side. So means if you are running an organization, or if you are running an IT infrastructure, so you are the one which know where your data resides. So it can be in database, storage, file servers. There can be different places where data is. So wherever sensitive data is, wherever you feel that it can be vulnerable, you encrypt that data. But after encryption, where are the keys? Keys are most important, but because keys are being used to encrypt that data. So you need to store and manage keys in a proper manner. And who is accessing your data? Who is authorized to access your data? So you need to control access. So if these three things is there with the other security layers, then there is an adequate security. You can say that we are at the level that if there will be no breach. If breach happens, then there should be the effect will be very, very less. So just to end my presentation, I have taken 3 use cases which can be which you can relate with your organization itself. So e-documents, e-procurement, e-invoicing, anything involves e-documents. So going from paper to digital, security is required. If you want to have an e-invoicing in place, e-procurement in place, how you will secure those invoices? How will you secure the integrity and the non-repudiation part already? And this comes with digital signing and encryption. So those are encryption technologies. So digital signing. So in a digitized world, you cannot sign with a pen, a physical pen. You need to have some mechanism of signing. So that is called digital signing. And for digital signing, you require digital certificates, so proper security has to be required. So what generally is required is compliance. You need to comply to the guidelines which I mentioned, usability, and then the validation that the products which are or the solutions which you are using has to be validated from the third party. This is also a very you can say wide accepted example, that is badging cards. But we generally have multiple cards. For example, we have a card for physical access, means if you want to get into the building, get into the lab or anywhere else, you need to provide that physical access card. Now, when you are accessing your system, you need to provide another card. If you have another application, you need to have another authentication factor. Or you will be using username password, which is vulnerable every time. Means if 2 guys are sitting side by side, anybody can steal your username password. So that is not the best way of authenticating in any application. So this is how you have a single card which can be used for logical, physical access. You can use it for as an electronic purse. So you can use it for physical access to buildings and sites, parking, offices. So these badge cards can be used for any most of the use cases are covered. Lastly, this is generally the PSUs which are taking the seismic images, like it can be IOCL, HPCL, BPCL, or oil and gas, ONGC, whichever organizations take seismic images. Then there are employee and customer records, financial records. Then there are intellectual property, like if you can say, I think BHEL work on turbines. So if the architecture of the turbine is being leaked to the competitor, then all is gone. And these information is being there in databases, storage, etc. So storage encryption and proper key management is the key in this. So encrypted data is somewhere else, and encryption keys is somewhere else. So you have isolated both the things, and then you have a control access. You have two-factor authentication in place, so that only authorized person can access your application. So what it provides is granular data controls, limit administrator access to data. This is very important. There is no single point of failure now. employee granular access, central key management and administration, which is easy to use, you can say. So this was from my side around the data security part. And if you have any query, just let me know, or I am available for the whole day here. So anytime you can, and we will be happy to assist.